Hi everybody, Hub Arkush here for Pro Football Weekly, and it is debate time. This week's version of one-on-one. To my right, to your left, is Associate Editor Dan Parr, and to my left and your right, Associate Editor Arthur Arkush. And this week, the guys are going to try and figure out who is the best rookie head coach in the NFL. And Dan, we'll let you have first honors.
Well, I'm going with Bruce Arians, who found himself in obviously a situation that was unexpected and very difficult for him when Chuck Pagano, who was a first-year head coach for the Colts, was obviously diagnosed with leukemia, had to leave the team to begin treatment for that. And Bruce Arians' team was 1-2 when he took over. Won 3 or 4 games with him as the interim head coach. Also, still calling plays as the offensive coordinator. Really extraordinary what the Colts are doing right now, given what expectations were for them and where they were. We thought no one expected this Colts team to be talking about postseason maybe at the midpoint of the season, but it's a realistic possibility right now.
Arthur, you have a number of other choices. We know one of them is not Bruce Arians, so go ahead.
I'm going to go with Joe Philbin, another first-year head coach in Miami. What he has done has been, in my mind, even a little bit more impressive than what Bruce Arians has accomplished, only because there's a little bit larger body of work. Of course, they both have the same 4-3 record, but I just look at the biggest difference in the two being Joe Philbin's doing it all with Ryan Tannehill, while obviously Bruce Arians is working with Andrew Luck. I just think that both men have been, incredibly impressive, but I just think that Philbin has got that team to buy in. You have to look at the whole body of work, some of the courage and his own conviction that he was showing dating back to the offseason, getting rid of a few of their best players and really building the type of culture in that team that he wanted. And after a really rough 1-3 start with a couple demoralizing defeats, they're also at 4-3 and right in the thick of things.
And now, Dan, I'm going to call you out on a little bit of a technicality. Can you really call it Bruce Arians without making it Bruce Arians and Chuck Pagano as kind of a tag team there?
You could say that, but I know on game days, it's Bruce Arians on the sideline making the decisions for this Colts team, and they've been in some tight games with him as head coach. He's had to make some tough calls. Like I said, still calling plays offensively as he's been doing throughout the season. Bringing Andrew Luck along again. He's had a lot of success developing quarterbacks, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning. He's doing it again with Andrew Luck. So while there's some help there, I would say that certainly in the Miami Dolphins side, Joe Philbin getting some really great help from his defensive coordinator, Kevin Coyle. That Dolphins defense has been even better than the Indianapolis defense.
Well, and Arthur, that's obviously going to be the counterpoint. Is Joe Philbin, the offensive coordinator in Green Bay. Yeah, he's done a decent job with Ryan Tannehill, but they're winning with their defense, and how much of that is Philbin?
Well, I think he's got to get the credit. Certainly the blame falls on his desk, so I think a lot of the credit has to as well. Not only Kevin Coyle, what they've done on special teams the past few weeks has won some ball games for them as well. He outcoached Jeff Fisher a few weeks ago and did the same thing last week with the blocked punt. So I think that in all 3 phases, the Dolphins are playing really good football. I just think they go out there and they give it all their all each week, and I think that that his impact is rubbing off on his football team, and he's off to a really nice start.
All right, last point, guys, and Dan, I'll come to you first. At some level, you've got to look at quality wins with the 4-3. Now, neither one has exactly beaten a juggernaut, but you might argue the Colts' wins don't quite match up with the Dolphins.
Well, I actually disagree. I think the Colts did beat the Green Bay Packers, who, in my book, are still one of the best teams in the league. I don't think the Dolphins have a trademark signature type of win like that yet this season. Now, it's just a matter of what their schedule's been. They'll have that opportunity before the season is over. But I think the talent overall a little bit better in Miami than it is in Indianapolis. And for the Colts to be in the position they are, given all they've been through this season, really impressive to me.
Arthur, the Dolphins' schedule, no, they don't have the Packers, but maybe they've got the better middle-of-the-road stuff?
We'll see. I actually would have to probably agree with Dan just because there's no Packers win on the Dolphins slate, but they did beat a Bengals team that was on a roll a few weeks back, and as I mentioned, the way they lost back-to-back games in overtime and fell to 1-3 and then have managed to rally and have a perfect October and really gotten themselves back into things is really what's probably most impressive in what they've been able to accomplish so far.
All right, we know where Arthur and Dan stand. What do you guys think? Drop us a line at editors@profootballweekly.com. Give us your opinion. That'll do it for this week's edition of One-on-One. For all the best in NFL coverage, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, make sure you stay tuned in at profootballweekly.com.